If you want to retain what you read, the least effective thing you can do is drag a neon marker across a page or frantically type every word a speaker says. We have all had the experience of finishing a dense chapter, feeling highly productive, only to realize a few days later that almost every major concept has vanished from our memory. This happens because of a cognitive trap known as the illusion of competence. When the material is sitting right in front of you, your brain simply recognizes the words, tricking you into believing you have actually stored the information. Psychologist Jordan Peterson points out that simultaneous note-taking and highlighting are little more than pseudo-work. They provide the comforting feeling of studying while allowing you to bypass the mental effort required to actually learn. Real learning is not supposed to feel like smooth, mindless transcription. It demands cognitive friction. It should feel difficult. To find out what you actually know, you have to completely remove the safety net of immediate visual recognition and see what remains. The first operational rule of retention is that you must forcefully separate the act of consuming information from the act of recording it. If you are in a lecture, put the pen down. Focus entirely on the speaker and absorb the argument without the distraction of documentation. The exact same rule applies to reading a textbook. Consume a single section or an essay, and then physically close the cover to sever your visual supply. Closing the book forces you into a state of active recall. You are now demanding that your brain spontaneously generate complex ideas from scratch, with absolutely zero external prompts to help you. That mental strain you feel in the dark is the biological reality of learning. The painful friction of forcing your brain to generate an answer builds far thicker, stronger neural pathways than passive rereading ever could. You never forge a durable memory while you are taking information in. You build it entirely in the silent, uncomfortable gap immediately after you stop. Even the most profound sentence in a book is highly vulnerable if it is stored by itself. Your brain processes an isolated fact as singular data floating in a void. Human memory is ruthless. It actively scrubs it within days. To secure an idea permanently, attach rigid memory hooks, tethering it to the massive network of things you already know. You forge these hooks through a rapid process of internal interrogation. Do you truly believe the idea? How it relates to older concepts? What its broader significance is? And how you might criticize it? Every time you answer one of those critical questions, you sink another structural anchor into the bedrock of your established worldview. True memorization is never about dropping a raw fact into an empty box. It is the active process of weaving a new thread into an indestructible tapestry. Once you have closed the book, wrestled with the concept, and forged those connections, it is finally time to pick up your pen and write down your synthesized thoughts. But you cannot simply write down the author's original sentence. Doing so defeats the entire exercise. You must reformulate the core concept entirely from scratch. By forcing the idea into your own words, you demand that the information successfully navigate through your unique, newly built network of memory hooks. This specific cognitive shift is how skilled speakers manage to recall, connect, and discuss highly complex ideas extemporaneously without referencing notes. Dragging a highlighter across a page is merely renting knowledge. It looks good temporarily, but it remains fragile. But reformulating an idea buys it outright. The ultimate reward for enduring the friction of active recall is that the information stops being an external fact you need to memorize. It becomes a permanent, undeniable part of who you are.